there's always the danger with everything that we come to professionalize it. There are many services that people provide for each other that used to be done just out of human wisdom, human common sense, human experience, which are now professionalized. You now have to get a certificate to be able to counsel someone for depression or grief sometimes. Or you feel that you should. You feel you're not equipped to respond to some of those basic human needs without a professional qualification. And religion can easily fall foul of that professionalism as well. And the professional caste of the clergy can do the same thing. And Jesus clearly stood outside of that kind of institutionalism. He accepted the rules and regulations of his own religious tradition. He respected the temple and the synagogue. He kept the rules, except where those rules were obviously too exclusive and too contradictory. So he didn't obey the rule about not healing on the Sabbath, because he just saw that it was a ridiculous over-professionalization of something that is essentially spontaneous and human and flows from a true religious experience. So we have to be conscious of this, and whether you're professional religious or whether you are a lay person, we have to be conscious of this danger of the professionalization of religion, which usually works by inclusion and exclusion. We include certain people, we exclude certain people. We say that some people are in a state of grace, and that allows them to receive communion, and others are not in a state of grace, and they are excluded from communion. And again, this is not true of any particular church or denomination. This is true, or any religion. It's true of all religion. The clerical class, or the laity who have been made semi-clerical because they are safe people, these are the kind of categories which we have to maybe accept because they run the institution, but we have to see beyond them and realize that the Holy Week that we are entering, the religious experience we're entering, transcends all of those categories. That in fact, this religious experience that we are opening ourselves to in this Holy Week is an experience of universal inclusion. That's why we speak about the cross as a universal grace, as a universal redemptive event that touches every human being in some mysterious way, regardless of what they believe or don't believe. It touches them. And because true religious experience has this quality of inclusivity. Now, institutionally, you can't easily operate by that principle of total inclusivity. But in terms of this religious experience, which obviously is really a spiritual experience, we can experience total inclusion, that all are united, all are one. And our meditation opens us to this inclusivity. We know that when we meditate with other people, we are one with them. Whatever their belief or lack of belief, whatever tradition or lack of tradition that brings them into this space, this sacred space of the silence with us. And so no one in this understanding is excluded because of their sexual orientation or their gender or their colour or their class. So by entering into this dimension of religious experience this week, we can see that it's about a purification of religion, not a building up of the temple, not adding more wings and rules to the temple, but actually a destruction of the temple, as Jesus graphically said. The temple will be destroyed. And we allow it to be destroyed every time we meditate. Because if it is destroyed, that means not negatively terrorized, but if we go beyond it, if we are no longer tempted by the false security it may offer, then we can use it and benefit from it in the way that it is intended. We can receive great benefits from the institutions of religion, great benefits from the church for all its faults, provided we have opened ourselves to this other level, the level, of course, that Jesus is operating from in his teaching. And remember, he tells us that the temple will be destroyed and be rebuilt in 3 days as his mystical body. So it's another kind of temple. Then we begin to see that the external form of religion is just that, an external form that is pointing to a much more amazing mystical or spiritual reality. I think the only way we can do this in practice, get this balance between what we normally call now religion and spirituality together, the only way we can really do this effectively is to balance the rituals and the forms of religion with a deep stillness, with the deep silence and the deep simplicity of contemplation. Words need to be balanced by pure silence. The complexity of rules and traditions with simplicity. And the rituals, the gestures, with a deep stillness of body and mind, with contemplative experience. So this week we will be on retreat, whether on Bere Island or wherever we may be, and I hope we can set up this dance between the ritual and the contemplative through our times of meditation. And if we do, I think the words of Scripture and the rituals in the church, especially during the Triduum, will, I think, come alive for us and will glow for us with the radiance of their true meaning. And then we will come closer to what religious experience really means. And we'll see that it's not limited to any physical temple or sociological construct, but it runs through every dimension of our lives, precisely because it springs from the center of ourselves. If something can really be said to spring from our deepest center, from our deepest self, then it touches every level of experience, every moment of the day, and every dimension of our lives. And we can see then that God cannot be domesticated, and that Jesus is a loving Saviour, but he's also a wild prophet. He doesn't let us off the hook when we try to get religious experience on our own terms. He teaches us that if we want to change the world, then it's not just about praying for it, it's that we have to be changed first. He teaches us not to be afraid or ashamed of those times and places in our lives where we undergo the real cross, where we don't look good in our own eyes or in anybody else's eyes. He teaches us the meaning of the cross, not the Hollywood version of it, or even the institutional version of it, but the cross where we lose absolutely everything in order that we can be thrown completely open, which is what the resurrection means. And in this way, everything in our lives, everything that we might call secular, that doesn't look religious, everything in our lives is made holy by the cross and what the cross leads us out into, the resurrection. So I hope during these days of retreat, as we try to get this balance right, we can see just in the ordinary to and fro of these coming days, whether you're here on Bere Island or working and living anywhere else, that the ordinary things of life begin to manifest this inner grace and inner presence. That's what a retreat is about. It's not about creating a safe zone, pushing the world away. It's about allowing the presence of Christ to be released and manifested and shine through the most ordinary and simple things. Our conversations with each other, meeting new people, or enjoying old friends, or eating soda bread, or going for a walk on the mountain, or doing our shopping, cooking the meals. Whatever we're doing, whether it's the reading of the scriptures or the reading of the book of nature, everything can become filled with this wonderful holiness of these days. So we'll take a time of meditation now, and those who are sharing this moment with us online, we're going to just have a short introduction to meditation, and then you're welcome to continue meditating with us, but we'll go offline, or we'll stay spiritually online, but digitally offline when the meditation begins. So, let's take a moment to prepare for meditation by preparing your body. Meditation is a very incarnational way of prayer. It's not mental prayer, it's the prayer of the whole person, the prayer of the heart. So just take a moment to sit upright. If you're sitting on a chair, you can put your feet on the ground, your hands on your lap or on your knees. Relax your shoulders, relax the muscles of your face, so that in this time of meditation you can be both relaxed and alert. And in meditation we let go of thoughts, even religious thoughts, or holy thoughts, or scriptural thoughts, or psychological analysis. We let go of all kinds of thoughts so that we can enter into silence. The silence is not just external, it's also interior. And the first step in coming to this interior silence is to let go of thoughts. And then it is to be still in body and mind, and to pay attention. And we do this in a very simple way by taking a single word or a short phrase, a mantra, prayer word, and repeating this word continually in the mind and heart during the time of the meditation. That's how we let go of our thoughts, not by trying to let go of them, not by trying to repress them, but just by returning our attention to the word, to the mantra. So choosing the word is important as we stay with the same word all the way through the meditation and from day to day. So you could, for example, take the name Jesus, a very ancient Christian mantra, or the word Abba, a word that Jesus made sacred. The word I would recommend, however, is the word Maranatha. Maranatha is the oldest Christian prayer. It's in Aramaic, the language that Jesus spoke. We heard him speak those words today in the reading of the Gospel on the cross. This Aramaic was his native language. And Maranatha means "Come, Lord." Find it in the scriptures, in the early liturgies of the church. So it was a very sacred word in early prayer. But when we say it in meditation, as we recite it, we are not thinking about the meaning of it, but we are listening to it and allowing it to lead us from thought to silence. So say the word as 4 syllables: Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. Articulate the word clearly in your mind and heart. Don't visualize it, but listen to it as a sound, and say it in faith. In other words, say it faithfully. When the mind wanders and you become distracted, just simply like a child, return to the word. You don't have to evaluate yourself. Just come back immediately to the work of saying the word. Say it gently, without force, without trying to force anything, without trying to get anything. Just say it very gently, but faithfully. Say it simply, without analyzing yourself or watching yourself. So let go of everything. That's the real meaning of the cross, and it's the real joy of the resurrection, that you have let go. So the mantra allows us to enter, as John Main said, into the dying and rising of Jesus, into his experience deep within our own being. And the simple, very simple saying of the word brings us to silence, stillness, simplicity, and allows us to enter into a full and loving union with the person of Jesus. So again, we'll have a little music just to lead us into the silence. Sit with your back straight, close your eyes lightly, and then silently, in your mind and heart, begin to say your word, Maranatha, Ma-ra-na-tha.
Enche-me, Espírito.